This is the Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Applications webinar. We'll be starting in 4 minutes. This is the Trinet Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Applications webinar. We'll be starting in 3 minutes. This is the Trinet Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Applications webinar. We'll be starting in 2 minutes. As you log in, please go to the chat window, which will be at your right side of your screen, and just type in where you're coming from, so we know where people are joining us from. Again, this is the Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Applications webinar. We'll be starting in 2 minutes. Again, this is the Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Applications webinar. As you're joining the webinar, please type in the chat window and let us know where you're joining from, what town or city you're joining us from. And we'll be starting in just a minute. This is the Trinet Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Applications webinar. We'll start now. As you join the webinar, please make sure to, in the chat window, let us know where you're coming from. Put your city and state so we know where you're joining from. So let's get started. Again, this Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Applications. And let's go to the next slide. So just a quick quote from Steve Jurvetson, board member of SpaceX and Tesla, said, "Machine learning allows us to build software solutions that exceed human understanding and shows us how AI can innovate every industry." So we are seeing more and more applications of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And this particular webinar, we're going to focus on some marketing applications. Rosa, thanks for joining us, and Alberto as well, coming from California. Thank you for joining our webinar today. All right, so a little bit about myself. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Trinet Internet Solutions. We're a digital marketing firm. Our main offices are in Irvine, California. We have a 25-year track record of advising corporations and businesses, CEOs and CMOs on technology strategy, digital marketing, developing advanced and successful digital media experience. And we help with everything from digital lead generation to fundraising, websites, live webinars like this one. We perform many of these for our client on behalf of our clients, and streaming media that's especially designed for high marketing impact. And some of our clients include some of America's best known brands, from Whole Foods Market, Sony, Coca-Cola, and many others. And my personal passion is to share how organizations can be successful using digital techniques and strategy. And thanks, Cynthia, joining from Los Angeles, Barbara in Southern California, Kara joining from Arizona. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's go to the next slide. A little bit about Trinet. We were established in 1995. Our headquarters are in Irvine, California, and we serve both nonprofit and corporate clients. Some examples of some of the clients we work with, I mentioned Coca-Cola and Sony, and in addition, Gelson's, World Vision, Variety, the children's charity, and IMAX are a few of our clients. And what I'd like to do next is share a video that we have, which is a client testimonial by Barry McGuire. And so let's watch that now.
Hi, I'm Barry McGuire. I'm the founder and the president of Revival Outside the Walls. Build a global brand, another life. We're visionaries, we're passionate. We've always worked with the best people we could possibly find to get us to where we want to go. We looked around, who's the best digital marketing company we could possibly work with? And wherever we went, we kept hearing this name, Trinet, Trinet, Trinet. And I have to tell you, we're having so much fun working with the people at Trinet. They have so much talent. I mean, we're outside the box all the time, but they're even ahead of us. And the magic that takes place in our meetings, it's just amazing. You know, we're now 2 years into this process, and they're no longer a vendor. I mean, they're our friends, our buddies. They're always plussing what we're saying. I love the fact that while they are big and they have these great ideas, they get it. I mean, they fall down in detail to do everything we want to do beyond what we want to do. It's great and easy to have big ideas, but they make them happen. You know, the hotspot for us, of course, is the whole digital world, all aspects of social media. Trinet's building a phone app for us that will blow you away. It is the most exciting digital phenomena I have ever seen. There's internet TV, there's all aspects of new technology coming, and well, we have great people in-house. It is the inexhaustible resources of Trinet that are going to make it possible for us to achieve our dreams. So if you have big dreams for your business, if you want to get new customers online, you want to tap into new technology, sure, you can do some of it yourself, but you can't do all of it. That's why you need Trinet.
Well, that was a great testimonial. You know, love working with Barry McGuire. He is the epitome of enthusiasm. And so it's always great to hear from him. We have developed a website for him. We've done iOS and Android applications. And so he's just as well as marketing campaigns. Just a pleasure to work with, and appreciate his kind endorsement. Well, let's move on now to next slide. Today's agenda, we're going to cover 3 objectives, learning objectives. Objective number 1 is, what is artificial intelligence, or AI for short, and machine learning, which is usually abbreviated ML, and what's the difference between the two. Objective number 2 is, how can artificial intelligence and machine learning be used in a business context, specifically marketing applications? And objective 3 is, review examples of how AI and machine learning can be used by businesses. So let's take a look at that. All right. Let's start first with the definition of artificial intelligence. So what exactly is artificial intelligence? And this is a great quote from the IBM website, which says, artificial intelligence enables computers and machines to mimic the perception, the learning, the problem solving, and the decision-making capabilities of the human mind. And so what is machine learning? How do we define that? Well, machine learning is a subgroup of artificial intelligence that learns by itself, and where you provide it with large amounts of data, and it's able to spot patterns in the data. And it has the ability to reprogram itself by spotting data and then bringing that to the attention of the humans that are using it. As it digests more data, its ability to perform its specific task increases with greater accuracy. So that's the difference between AI and ML. Let's look at a slide that compares them. So on the left, we have artificial intelligence as the broader concept of machines being able to carry out tasks and decisions the way the human brain could, versus machine learning is based around the idea of allowing machines access to data and let the machine learn and improve for itself. So let's first, before we jump into marketing and how AI and ML can be used for marketing applications, let's take a look at some guidelines on the use of artificial intelligence. And I think it's useful to take a look at that, because as organizations start to wade into the use of artificial intelligence, it's good to step back and set some, I guess, boundaries and rules for how organizations use artificial intelligence and machine learning. And so I'm going to touch now on artificial intelligence ethics. In April of 2021, the Federal Trade Commission released some basic guidelines for the use of artificial intelligence. And this gives companies a baseline understanding of how government sees artificial intelligence being used, and it increases the number of companies thinking about ethical design development and the use of AI tools. So it's important to kind of think these issues out as to how exactly as an organization are we going to use the technology, and what is right and what is wrong and how we use it. So let's go to the next slide. So first off, start with the correct foundation. If a data set, for example, is missing information from a particular population, using that data to build an AI model will create results that are unfair or inequitable to legally protected groups. So you have to be thinking about for example, if you're feeding data into machine learning, is that a complete data set or is it just a partial data set? The FTC enforces something called ECOA, which prohibits credit discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, sex, marital status, age, or because a person received public assistance. So, for example, if a company made credit decisions based on a consumer zip code resulting in an impact on particular ethnic groups, the FTC could challenge that practice under ECOA. And so the idea is you can save yourself a lot of trouble by rigorously testing your algorithm both before you use it and periodically afterwards to make sure it doesn't create a contrasting impact on a protected class. And you might also want to think about the data set that you're using as well. Is it a broad data set, or is it one that tends to be segmented towards a particular group? Next, give consumers access and an opportunity to correct information used to make decisions about them. And that's particularly relevant because we now have regulations in the European Union, as well as in California now, the CCPA, that actually requires companies to allow consumers access to their data and the ability to be able to review it and make revisions to that. So the Fair Credit Reporting Act regulates data used to make decisions about consumers. Example, whether a consumer gets a job, credit, insurance, or rent an apartment. And under the FCRA, consumers are entitled to obtain the information on file about them and dispute information they believe to be inaccurate. And then adverse action notices are required to be given to consumers when that information is used to make a decision adverse to the consumer's interest. And that notice must include the source of the information that was used, to make the decision and must notify consumers of their access and dispute rights. So if you're using data obtained by from third parties, or even if you've obtained it directly from the consumer to make important decisions, you should consider providing a copy of that information to the consumer and allowing the consumer to dispute the accuracy of that information. Now, that's particularly relevant for California consumers, but there's also several other states that are putting in place laws similar to the California Consumer Protection Act as well. Washington State, for example, and there's several other states that are considering legislation of the same type. And at some point that may also be enacted at the federal level. It hasn't as of yet, as it has in the European Union, but you should plan for that now. So let's go on. So don't deceive consumers about how you use automated tools. Often AI operates in the background and is somewhat removed from the consumer experience. But it's important when using AI tools to interact, when you're interacting with customers, for good example is chatbots, not to mislead consumers about the nature of the interaction. Make sure that they understand that this is an automated system as opposed to a person talking to them. An example is the Devumi complaint alleged that the company sold fake followers, subscribers, and likes to companies and individuals that wanted to boost their social media presence. And so if the company uses doppelgangers, whether a fake profile or a phony follower that misleads consumers, they could face an FTC enforcement action. So good to know about. Next, be transparent when you're collecting sensitive data. So as you're, again, AI and in particular machine learning relies on vast amounts of data. And as you're collecting that data and using AI and you're collecting that data, be careful about how you get that data set. So for example, secretly collecting audio or visual data or any sensitive data to feed to an algorithm could result in an FTC action. In 2019, the FTC alleged that Facebook misled consumers and told consumers they could opt in to facial recognition. However, the setting was on by default. As a result, the FTC investigated and Facebook was fined $5 billion for violating consumer privacy. So always tell people when you're collecting data and how they are going to be using it, and ideally allow consumers to opt out. And then, of course, the next step is to allow consumers to be able to view the data that you're collecting from them and allow them to correct it. All right, let's go on to the next one. Don't exaggerate what your algorithm can do or whether it can deliver fair or unbiased results. Under the FTC Act, your statements to business customers and consumers must be truthful, non-deceptive, and supported by evidence. So be careful not to overpromise what your AI program can deliver. For example, an AI developer tells clients that its product will provide 100% unbiased hiring decisions, but the algorithm was built with data that lacked racial or gender diversity, for example, and the result may be deception, discrimination, and an FTC law enforcement action. So be careful with your data and with your algorithms. Next, and this is, just overarching, do more good than harm. In simple terms, under the FTC Act, a practice is unfair if it causes more harm than good. So if your model is deemed to cause more harm than good, that is in Section 5 parlance, if it causes or is likely to cause substantial injury to consumers that is not reasonably avoidable by consumers and not outweighed by countervailing benefits to consumers or to competition, the FTC can challenge the use of that model as unfair. One example is HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, had a case against Facebook in 2019, alleging Facebook allowed advertisers certain tools on their advertising platform that could exclude people who were classified as non-American born, non-Christian, or interested in Hispanic culture, amongst other things. It also said advertisers could exclude people based on zip code, essentially drawing a red line around those neighborhoods on a map. So those sorts of things are going to raise red flags. So be careful about those. So what are some ways that AI, now that we've covered some of the ethics and some of the things to be careful about doing as you're developing your AI and your ML applications, what are some ways that AI and ML can be used for business applications. And in this webinar in particular, we're going to be focusing on specifically marketing or marketing related applications. So benefits of AI. AI can automate time-consuming work. So it can assist in predicting, for example, a particular prospect or a particular lead. It can forecast giving trends. It can be used in customer service and answering frequently asked questions. AI is certainly becoming more accessible, and there's many tools out there, more and more tools all the time. Two that are particularly notable is both Google's TensorFlow tools and Facebook's PyTorch tools. TensorFlow is free open source. It was created by the Google Brain team, and it's an open source library for numerical computation and large-scale machine learning developed by Google. Of course, you have to upload all your data to Google servers to be able to use it. So just be aware of that. But it's a good toolkit. But you do have to have programming and technical ability to be able to use that kind of a tool. And the same goes for Facebook's PyTorch tool, which is Facebook's open source machine learning library created by the Facebook AI team. The difference between the two is Facebook's is more focused on computer vision and natural language processing, as opposed to Google's TensorFlow, which is more a broad-based AI tool. So those are some available open source free toolkits that are available. Again, you have to have the expertise to be able to use those. And so if you're interested in those, contact Trinet and we can certainly help you with those. Next is AI helps make sense of data. More businesses are incorporating AI features to assist in combing through data, specifically to spot patterns and trends, which can then improve marketing campaigns. So let's go on to the next one. So let's go through some examples of how AI and machine learning is being used in a practical way. This first example is Crisis Text Line, which is it's a website, but it's also an SMS application. And what this organization does is they provide suicide counseling using text messaging in particular. So, for example, you can text home to 741-741 to connect with a crisis counselor. Now, how did they use artificial intelligence? Well, they analyzed online text conversations and they identified certain words that were more likely to be characteristic of someone who would take their life. And so they were able to service 94% of high-risk texters in under 5 minutes. So they would scan hundreds of live conversations, and if certain words were used in the SMS conversation, they escalated those conversations to higher level trained counselors to be able to address it rapidly. So that's a great example of a mission-based artificial intelligence. Let's go to the next one. Next is Doctors Without Borders, or Médecins Sans Frontières. This is an initiative to fight antimicrobial resistance, and they used AST app, which allowed people in the field to be able to upload pictures of, so they as they were interacting with the patient, they could use their phone to take a picture, for example, of the patient's skin, and then upload that to AST app, which then used an image recognition model to suggest appropriate antimicrobial treatment to that particular patient. And this was helpful in low resource areas, or areas perhaps remote areas where they might not have any other kind of medical or physicians available. So it was used as a tool to help diagnose and provide intelligence in treating and diagnosing patients. Next example AI is also part of many aspects of Amazon's business, and we would expect that as well. One major way that Amazon uses AI is with predictive analytics. And predictive analytics is data that is collected as you purchase items on Amazon. Amazon, of course, collects that data and identifies a person's buying habits. And the AI program helps to recommend new items to its customers. So if you like this, then perhaps you might also like that. So this also helps to predict what a consumer may need even before they need it. Next example, Red Roof Inn used AI in a very unique and innovative way for marketing with a very limited budget. They used a geo-targeting mobile search strategy to find a very specific target audience. And the one that they were looking for in particular were people who had canceled flights. And so their idea was to use location-based marketing and targeting these types of micro moments where you're at the airport, your flight has been canceled, and now you have a need for a hotel room due to a flight cancellation or a delay. And this is when customers are most likely to turn to their mobile device to resolve some unexpected problems. And so they ran paid social ads and retargeting campaigns for specific regions as flights were canceled, they would push ads to people who were in that airport who would need access to a hotel room. And it was very successful. So you can personalize the content in order to localize that experience. So let's go on to the next one. So let's look at AI and ML now in social media, because this is perhaps the most applicable and how AI and ML has been used with the most impact. According to Clint Marketing, Facebook is the leading social media platform when it comes to cutting-edge technology that repurposes or user data across hundreds of thousands of experiments broken down into millions of accounts. And so examples of how artificial intelligence or how Facebook uses artificial intelligence, first, to analyze text, second, analyze pictures, third, detect spam, fourth, avoid propaganda, fifth, deciding content flow, six, determining social insights, seven, advertising, and eight, data gathering. So Facebook, of course, uses machine learning in facial recognition. So as you upload photos, it attempts to identify the people that are in the photo, so that those can be used, those can be notified, perhaps, or even let known that, hey, here's a photo that includes this person. So facial recognition, analysis of text content, predicting user behavior as well, perhaps identifying the background where they're at to be able to make appropriate suggestions for items that person might need. So Facebook created an AI tool called Deep Text. This helps Facebook recognize the meaning of and the context of conversations on the platform. And understanding a topic can lead to more accurate advertisements being shown to particular users. And they also use deep text to algorithmically flag content that's posted on the platform as well. So machine learning. So how does Facebook use machine learning? Well, to generate the estimated action rate, ad quality score are a couple of areas they focus on. To find the estimated action rate, Facebook's ML models predict a particular person's likelihood of taking the advertiser's desired action. And so they consider a person's behavior both on and off of Facebook as well as other factors, such as the content of the ad, the time of the day, and interactions between people and ads. Again, their goal here is to serve up more and more relevant ads to users based on the context, the time, and so on. And so to generate an ad's quality score, Facebook's machine learning models collect feedback data of people viewing or hiding an ad, as well as assessments of low quality attributes. Low quality attributes, for example, might be if the ad had too much text in, let's say the ad was an image and it had too much text in the image, or perhaps sensationalized language, or perhaps clickbait. So those are some of the areas they use this tool for. So machine learning and ad delivery, as more people view an ad, share feedback on it, or follow through to make a purchase or some other desired action. Advertisers can actually, as you're setting up a campaign, you can actually specify what the desired action is. It might be to click through, to download something, to purchase something, whatever that is. It can be then measured as to how well that ad caused somebody to take that particular action on an advertiser's website. So Facebook's machine learning models get better and better then at predicting the estimated action rate and the ad quality. So Facebook is also using the algorithm to be able to determine which ads are working better than others, and then showing the ones that are more effective. So billions of users are engaging with the apps and the ads every day. And with this engagement comes collection of data. And Facebook's machine learning models can then use this data to help improve its calculations, which can then do a better job at showing ads that are more likely to cause a call to action by the end user. So let's touch on Instagram, which is owned by Facebook as well. And what that means is that the machine learning algorithm that is used for Facebook ads is also, it's the same algorithm and system that's used for Instagram ads as well. So Instagram uses AI in addition to ads in the Explore feature, and that feature is what determines which posts get on your personal Explore feature, what's best suited to your interest based on what you've looked at, what you've watched, what you like, the accounts that you follow. And through their AI system base, they create a ranking system that can extract 65 billion features and makes 90 million model predictions every second. And that's according to Instagram's engineering department. Sometimes I get questions, I get people asking, well, with all this AI, should I still be creating great content? Should I still be using hashtags and other features like this? And those are still relevant. Great content is still relevant. Content is king. Hashtags are still relevant as long as they are used in the proper platforms. So, for example, hashtags are great for engaging with your community, gaining new followers. According to an updated article by Sprout Social, using all 30 hashtags is no longer recommended. So if you're stuffing your post with lots of hashtags, don't do that. Using all 30 hashtags makes a post look spammy. So don't do that, but choose your hashtags wisely. So for example, let's say you're posting something about beauty. There's so many different beauty related hashtags, the most popular hashtag being hashtag beauty. The problem is if you use a very broad hashtag like that, it's very unlikely that it's going to have much impact. Rather than using very general hashtags, what we would recommend is try to get very specific. So for example, hashtag unicorn hair or hashtag mermaid hair. That speaks to a more specific audience than just beauty. And couldn't you imagine me with unicorn hair? Wouldn't that be awesome? Not. Oh boy. Instagram ads. Let's talk now about artificial intelligence. So through an accurate study of the data gathered, Instagram can keep track, for example, of which posts users engage the most of their search preferences. Let's go to the next one. So being strategic and effective on social media is easier with access to certain tools and information. Of course, analytics being the most important one, specifically analytics about your audience and the performance of your posts. And these are not available to standard Instagram accounts. So what you want to do, of course, if you haven't already done so, is create an Instagram business account. And so when you convert an individual account to a business profile, you're able to get more information. You're able to add physical address. You're able to add email and or phone number, and these appear as clickable links that a user can use to get directions to email, to call, or text you directly from your profile. And with an Instagram business account, you also have option to promote posts. But more importantly, you have perhaps the most important benefit is you get access to analytics, which allows you to be more strategic and make better decisions based on the data that's collected about the users that are reading or consuming your posts. So next. So information about your audience can help you tailor your content and scheduling of your posts. Some of the information can include things like follower total and growth over the previous 7 days, demographic breakdowns by age, gender, and location, days and times when your followers are most active on the app, data on overall impressions, reach, profile views, and website clicks over the previous 7 days. So post information as well. So information about your posts allow you to see what kinds of content are resonating and are engaging with your audience. So post information or analytic information that's available to you includes things like the number of times a user has liked, commented on, or saved a post, the number of profile visits and link clicks generated by the post, the post reach, post impressions, and where impressions happen, such as on the home screen, on your profile, hashtags, etc. So it's all valuable information for your marketing. Let's touch on Twitter and how Twitter uses artificial intelligence and what the marketing applications would be. Of course, Twitter uses AI to detect ads to display and to whom to display them, and also when to display them too. Other forms of AI that Twitter uses, they use AI to give users a better user experience, capable of finding interesting tweets that are suitable individually. AI is also used to crop images automatically to make an image more appealing. And in the screen on the right there, you can see the original photo, which is in the left-hand column in that square. And then you can see the one on the right. So Facebook has automatically improved the image to make it even more attractive. Gosh, I could use that kind of technology to make myself look better as well. So, all right, let's go on to the next one. So LinkedIn. So AI is used by LinkedIn for daily activities. So recommended job opportunities, to organize the user feed, to ensure that the notifications are timely and that they're informative. And let's go to the next one. LinkedIn also helps you reach members that have interest in your products. So marketers can serve relevant sponsored content, and recruiters can identify and reach out to new talent groups. And I think LinkedIn is perhaps one of the most underused platforms. We all hear about Facebook, and we hear about AI, and we hear, Facebook and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. But LinkedIn really is one of those platforms that for certain products and services is one of the best to reach certain audiences, particularly professional audiences and people who are higher up in an organization. If you're trying to reach marketers or AI, so that's important. Barbara asked the question: how could a business use AI on LinkedIn to find new leads? And LinkedIn, it has as does Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and a variety of other platforms, has the ability to use artificial intelligence to find new audiences that look like your existing audiences. And the way it works is you upload data into your account, into your marketing account, typically email addresses and others. And then whether it's LinkedIn, it can also be Facebook or Instagram, then peruses that list of email addresses, matches accounts that it can find linked to those email addresses, and then it can find other people that have similar characteristics. And that can provide a very effective lead funnel for businesses in particular. So you can do, let's say you have a high-end, you have a product that is appropriate perhaps for surgeons. You could use LinkedIn to better reach that audience than you might to using Facebook or Instagram. Or let's say you wanted to reach CEOs in a certain geographical region. LinkedIn can be a better option to do that than perhaps Facebook and Instagram, because you'll reach a more effective, you reach the audience more effectively. So how could a business use AI on LinkedIn to find new leads? Through lookalike audiences. You can also run direct in-mail ad campaigns to reach people in certain industries with certain titles. So there's a variety of ways that that businesses could use LinkedIn. And don't think of LinkedIn as just a recruiting platform. It's much more than that. And many companies overlook the use of LinkedIn for anything other than recruiting. And that's a real shame, because it has ability to be able to do a much better job of reaching certain types of audiences. So other benefits of LinkedIn AI that operate in the background also is targeting of ads and messaging to LinkedIn member feeds, and routing internet connections to ensure the best possible site speed. Okay. So let's now talk about AI and how it can be used in chatbots. And if you haven't implemented a chatbot on your website, perhaps you should be thinking about it, particularly if you're in your industry or a business where you're doing customer service, or you're interacting with consumers. Even if you're interacting with, let's say, a reseller channel, it could still be used very effectively. A chatbot can help you engage a new demographic as well. So it can help with routine tasks and is particularly effective in handling frequently asked questions. It can be cost-effective, relatively easy to build, and it can help you reduce some of the pressure on inbound phone calls. So let's take a look at a couple of different ways that chatbots technology is available. One is you have chatbots that are available through what are called APIs, which stands for Application Programming Interfaces, versus chatbots that are completely packaged up and designed and sort of they're their own systems. And they're offered through a SaaS model or software as a service model, where you can build a chatbot yourself. So the pros and the cons, using the API tools, you can exactly custom design a chatbot to your business's specific needs. You can do whatever you want, versus in a SaaS model where you're purchasing a monthly service. Those types of chatbots can't always be fully customized, and you typically have to rely on templates which may or may not fit your particular application. The cons of using the API tools is it's more costly than the average chatbot builder. You have to have technical capability, programming skills to be able to implement it with an API tool, and you're responsible for maintenance and troubleshooting of the chatbot, versus the SaaS model is typically less expensive. It's often configured as it's often priced as a monthly service, and it can be more cost effective because you don't have to, it's all built with templates and wizards. So it can be more, it'd be easier to implement if you don't have those technical skills. and the maintenance and the troubleshooting are the responsibility of the vendor. So there's some pros and cons. So top chatbot options, 1 Mobile Monkey, 2 Dialogflow, and 3 BotCore. So Mobile Monkey, there's a free plan available. The pro plan is $49 per month. And a lot of these plans are priced based on how many either chat interactions there are or how much you need to customize it. Let's go to the next one. Next is Dialogflow. The cost depends on the edition chosen. The average edition chosen costs about $20 for 100 text interactive sessions and $45 for 100 voice sessions. Each new customer receives a $600 credit for a free trial of Dialogflow, and this credit is automatically activated upon using Dialogflow for the first time and expires after 12 months. BotCore, it's an intricate and highly customizable chatbot builder. They don't publish their prices, and you have to speak to a representative for plan prices because all of their plans are custom. So this is more of a roll your own type of option. So let's go through some key takeaways that we covered in this webinar. So first off, we encourage businesses to use ethical AI practices. Start with the correct foundation, number 1. Give consumers access and opportunity to correct information used to make decisions about them, and prepare your business as well for consumer privacy laws. And we see that in the European Union. We see that in California and many other states. So start preparing for it now. We can certainly help. Trinet can certainly help with that. 3, don't deceive consumers about how you use automated tools. So be upfront if the data is being collected and it's going to be used for marketing purposes. You need to let consumers know that. Be transparent when you're collecting sensitive data, and be careful as well when you're collecting sensitive data, because if you have data breaches, then you may be in some jurisdictions legally required to report to the consumer the data breach. California, for example, is one of those jurisdictions. 5, don't exaggerate what your algorithm can do or whether it can deliver fair or unbiased results. So AI can make it easier. It can make e-commerce daily tasks and transactions easier for the business and the consumer. AI can help with geo-based marketing and bringing customers to your business. So we see a lot of AI features being built into shopping carts, as we saw the example with Amazon, and using predictive models to suggest things in the shopping cart. Now, with the collection of data, AI and ML and social media helps with how your ad is seen and how it's shared. And social media and AI and ML analytics can help you to do a better job at marketing. You can see what's working, what's not with your followers, and it allows you to promote posts and increase your following using algorithms based on which content is best. And chatbots can also help you in your business. You can react to consumer inquiries more frequently, particularly if they're frequently asked questions, and they can be cost effective for doing that. So the bottom line is AI and ML is here. The technology is becoming more robust. Be thinking about how to use the technology effectively to reach new audiences, convert prospects to customers, grow sales with existing customers. And we're here to help you do that. We work with our clients to help them, first off, determine how best to use this technology, how to use it in a smart way, and then prepare their organization and their ability to be able to use it effectively for marketing. Great quote from Steve Jobs says, "Great things in business are never done by one person. A team of people does them." And that's very true. So that's why Trinet is here. Our team is here to help you to get your arms around AI and ML and learn how to use it effectively. So we have a special offer to help you get AI and ML help for your business. So a special Trinet webinar offer, a 30-minute free business consultation. You can contact Ron Weber at Trinet. My information is listed there. Email, as well as my LinkedIn profile and phone. So if you have specific questions about AI or ML, I encourage you to contact me for that, and be happy to chat with you about how we can help you with that. Kara asks a question. We already have CRM software. Do we need to switch software to take advantage of the AI features mentioned? Well, yes and no. In particular, a lot of CRM software, Salesforce and others, already have those features built in. They can help you to, for example, do email blasts to prospects that perhaps you've had interaction with recently. Unfortunately, to take advantage of a lot of the AI or ML, you have to use the features that are built into the software package. Now, there are a few ways that you can use marketing to AI and ML. We've got some great tools there's some great tools that are available out there for marketing. For example, HubSpot's one. And there's several others that can help you to do a better job at formulating, for example, subject lines in emails. And there's some great and those you don't have to use a particular package. So there's some features that you can use. Another example is the AI and the ML that's built into Facebook's marketing engine. You can use that by just using Facebook's marketing engine, the same for Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn as well. So for the answer is yes and no. To perhaps use something specific to your data, such as what you have in your CRM software, you may need to switch CRM packages, or you may be able to use some features that others might bring to the table that integrate with that, and that'll depend on your CRM software. Lots of packages have modules or add-ins that can be utilized from within your CRM software. That's going to depend on your particular package. Thanks for that question. Cynthia asks a question. We've resisted implementing chatbots because we just don't have the staff to support them. Do you have any recommendations on how to support them? Well, yes, that's a great question. It used to be years ago, to run a chatbot, you had to have a live staff available. Now there's some great hybrid models where you can upload and use the AI in a chatbot to answer a lot of common questions and answers. And then for those that can't be answered, you have the chatbots now have the ability to be able to forward and have that forwarded to somebody's text via text message to someone's phone. And so a lot of chatbots have the ability for you to set up schedules to say, okay, between certain hours, if any questions come in, they go to this person, and then other hours they go to that person. So you do have the ability to do so that not one person is responsible for answering all the questions and needs to be on standby. So there's scheduling options. There's AI to handle a good deal of the common questions and answers. So it's much easier to do it today than it used to be. And you can also simply respond if the question can't be answered with some of the automated means. You could also have it just say, well, hours. It's always better though if you can answer it right away, because chatbots are very interactive and people expect that instant response. So if it can forward to somebody's phone who might be on schedule for that particular time to answer it, that's always better. Next question. Can we scroll down a bit? I think I've missed some of the questions. Make sure I haven't missed any questions. Okay, so Sydney asks, the ethics of AI seem complicated. I'd like to study it more. Could you send me a copy of your presentation? Absolutely. Send. We're going to have a follow-up. You will receive a follow-up email after this webinar session is finished that will give you the ability to play the to replay this webinar. If you would like a copy, my email address is on the screen. Feel free to shoot me an email and I would be happy to send you a copy of this presentation. We will also be posting this webinar on our website within the next week as well. So thanks for that question, Sydney. Alberto, we don't have internal expertise in AI. How could we start to prepare for that? Well, the first place to start, great question, Alberto. The first place to start is with a strategy. One of the things that we specialize in when we work with our clients is first to help them determine and put in place a roadmap of steps to proceed forward, doing assessment and audit of their readiness, their AI and their ML readiness. And then once that's done, then putting together a plan to implement AI and ML technology in their marketing stack. So we can certainly help with that. And the place to start first is with a good roadmap and strategy to map out how best to use this technology. And we can help you with that. Next question is from Rosa. It sounds like Facebook uses AI mostly to run some of their internal features. Is there a practical way that businesses can take advantage of Facebook's AI or ML technology? Yes, absolutely. You're taking advantage of their AI and ML technology by when you're, for example, using the Facebook Ad Manager or an Instagram setting up an ad campaign. You don't have to have any programming experience to do that. It's automatically being used to help you run more effective campaigns. So that's a very practical way that businesses can take advantage of AI or ML. Another way is by creating, again, in an advertising campaign, to create lookalike audiences, to find new prospects that have the characteristics of your existing prospects. So you're not advertising to your existing group of customers, but you're using them kind of as a seed group to be able to find other prospects in the Facebook universe that have the same characteristics, and then sending ads to those people. So thanks. I think I don't see any other questions there. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending this webinar. And just a reminder that we have a free offer of a 30-minute business consultation. You can contact me with the contact information that's on the screen, and be happy to chat with you about that. And so I trust this webinar has helped to enlighten you in what is AI, what is ML, how to be able to use it effectively in a marketing context, and some great examples of how it's been used. So now go out and use it, and contact us if you would like help to strategize and to implement that. So thanks again for attending this webinar, and also check out our other webinars as well. We have webinars on omnichannel and a variety of other webinars that are available on our website. And so make sure to check those out as well. So have a wonderful day, and thanks again for attending this webinar.